All right, so we are now starting Unit 7, Day 4 notes. These are your objectives at the top. Of course, some of the problems that you will be working with have multiple objectives in one problem. So seems like a lot. This particular day of notes, medium amount of work. And of course, you see that it looks exactly how we ended the last day of notes, Unit 7, Day 3 notes. Kind of, it leads you into this this day's notes. All right, so of course here, as you see, same common denominator, so we can just combine the top. We're going to have b squared minus 25 up top because the denominator is the same. B plus 5 is at the bottom. We're not done here because we're going to have to factor. So this becomes b plus 5, b minus 5. We know that because two perfect squares with a minus in between, okay? And then the b plus 5 is at the bottom. Of course, those two are going to cancel out. Your answer here is b minus 5. That's your answer, okay? So when we move here, it's the same situation, but a little bit more intricate because at the bottom here, it looks like you're going to have to factor. But those are the same, so we can combine like terms at the top, b plus 2 over b squared plus 8b plus 12. And then it looks like we're going to have to factor the bottom. So same or different, same. Both are going to be positive. B plus, multiples of 12 that add to give you 8, 6, and 2. Okay, those look like they cancel out. Remember, if there's nothing left up top, you have to put a 1. And then b plus 6 is at the bottom there. Okay. Good. All right, moving in and doing the problems that are have stars. Actually, let's do this one. Okay, and we'll take away one of these because it's very, very similar to the other. So here, again, the bottom has the common denominator, so we can combine the top. We're going to have x squared minus 5x minus 6. Why? Because it has a negative. It has a minus in between. That means the 6 is negative. Okay, so at the bottom, of course, we'll have that same common denominator situation that's going on at the bottom. Okay, let's factor both. Same or different? It looks like the last number is negative, so different. One positive, one negative. The bigger number is going to be negative. This last number is positive, so it's going to be same. Both of them are going to be negative. Okay. All right. So multiples of 6 that subtract to give you 5, 6 and 1. 6 is negative. 6 is negative because the bigger number is negative. 6 and 1. Multiples of 36 that add to give you 12. Let's think about it. 6 and 6. 6 and 6. Okay. Now here it looks like this cancels out with that 1, and these two are left. So your answer here is x plus 1, x minus 6. You cannot like cancel these x's out because they're attached with a plus or minus. Okay, cannot cancel them out when they're attached with a plus or minus. So that means they're kind of married. So we're done. But if they had the same top and bottom x minus 6 and x minus 6, then we can cancel out. We can't cancel out the x's here. No. And I see that done a lot actually, but do not do that. All right, so it makes a difference when it's attached in this way as opposed to attached in this way. Okay, so when you're looking here and you're looking for the common denominator here, okay, we have y's in both, and you see how the y's are not like attached by pluses or minuses. So since we have a y in both, that is a piece of the common denominator. Okay, so we already have a y in both. But the 6 and the 8 are really not common. Again, there's a piece of it where I guess you could say like this one has a 2 and a 3, so this one has a 2 and a 4, so the 2s are common. I would just multiply those two. That is just what I would do. Again, it doesn't make it all, that's the only way to go, but that's what I would do for the number part. Okay, I just multiplied 6 times 8 and got 48 and 48. So what do you have to multiply by 6y? That'll give you 48y, 8. So now I have to multiply top and bottom by 8. So this will be 8 here. same thing here. What do I have to multiply by 8? Why to give me 48? I said 6. 6. That becomes now 30. So now we have the same common denominator. 48y is the common denominator. At the top, you'll have 8 minus 30. So 8 minus 30 becomes negative 22. And when you do it this way, the way that I did it, which is, again, I just multiply the two, you are probably going to have to simplify. So I would take negative 22 and push my ABC button here, right above sign. That'll give me that backwards L. And that is going to give me an answer that's a fraction and a negative 11 over 24. So it's going to be negative 11 over 24y. Once I simplify the two numbers, I got negative 11 over 24y. Okay, and again, like I said, there are multiple ways to answer this question. You do not have to answer them the same way. Okay, but that's the way I would do it. All right, so same situation here. I'm going to multiply. This is I'll do it the other way now. So if this is has a 2 and a 3 in it, so break down 6 is 2 and 3. This now has a 4 times 2. Okay, do you see that the 2 is common between them? Okay, so it looks like 2 is common between them. So you wouldn't, when you multiplied and you found the greatest common denominator, you wouldn't have to use 2 twice. So you wouldn't have to multiply them together. So you can use 2 one time, times 3, times 4. So I'm taking this 2 and I'm multiplying it once here. Okay. All right. Let me turn this off to see if that helps. Yeah, hopefully. Because sometimes it gives a glare. All right. So what is 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 4 is 24. Okay. So that common denominator between the two is 24. Again, it depends on how you want to see it. You can probably just see it. Okay. That least common. Okay. Factor, LCD, least common factor is that 24. So that's going to be the lowest, least common denominator. So for this particular one, and then do you see that they both have B's? So we do not have to, that's going to be one of the, it's common between the two. So 24B looks like it's going to be your common denominator. Okay. So again, what I did when I multiplied them together, I just multiplied 6 times 8 and got 48 as my common. That's not going to be the LCD. It's not going to be the lowest. Here is how I would show you how to do it. If you have something that's common between them, write it one time and then write out all the rest of the factors there. Okay. And then once you multiply them together, that'll give you your common, your LCD. And Alex may show you a different way. Okay. So now that I have that, what did I have to multiply 6B to give me 24B? Of course, here I multiply just 3, if you see that. Okay. 3, I multiplied 3. No, it looks like 4. I'm sorry, 4. Let me cancel this out so I can see what I'm doing. Let's go here. All right. So what did I multiply by 6B to give me 24B? Whatever was over here, 4. Okay. And then I have to multiply the top by 4. So it becomes 4 parentheses 2B plus 5. Okay. And then the same situations over here. What do I have to multiply by 8 to give me 24? 3. Okay. 3. So then this I have to now multiply by 3. The entire binomial up top. Okay. So now the 4 has to be distributed, the 3 has to be distributed. So this becomes now 8B plus 20 over what? Minus, okay, minus 3B plus, why did I say plus? Because it's a negative 3. Okay, when I'm distributing negative 3 is negative 3B. Negative 3 times negative 6 is positive 18. Okay, all over the common denominator, which is 24B. Let's combine like terms. We get 8b minus 3b is positive 5b. 20 plus 18 is positive. Is that positive? Yes, yes, yes. Positive 20 plus positive 20 plus 18 is 38, all over 24b. Okay. So can we simplify any of those? Doesn't look like it. 5 and 24 and 38. Nope. That is going to be your answer there. Okay. All right, let's move on to the back. Same situation, but it's a little different, okay? In this case, it looks like they don't have any number. 7 and 3 do not have anything in common, so we can't really LCD there is just going to be 7 times 3, which is 21, but it does have that W squared and a W, okay? For this one, you're going to take the letter that has the highest exponent as the LCD, okay? The letter that has the highest exponent. So if you have W to the second and a W, the W to the second would be in the common denominator, all right? So for this particular one, 7 times 3 is 21. It's 21W squared is the common denominator, minus, and then of course 21W squared is here. And what did I multiply by 7 that will give me 21W squared? I would have to multiply by the 3 and then another W. So if I did it at the bottom, I have to do it at the top. Negative 5 times 3 is negative 15W. Okay. And then here, this one, what would I have to multiply by 3W squared to get 21W squared? Just 7. And 7 at the top there, that'd be 14. Okay. So now we have the common denominator as 21W squared. Now we can combine like terms there. It'll be negative 15W minus 14. Okay. Can we simplify there? Doesn't look like it. So now that is going to be our answer. It's not a pretty answer, but that is our answer there. All right, so moving down here, again, the same situation happens. It looks like the 7 and the 4 don't have anything in common. So for the common denominator, you would multiply 7 times 4 for the number part, 28. Okay, 28. I just multiplied 7 and 4 for the common denominator there. But then the B squared, B cubed, of course, you take the highest, and you're only doing this because it does not have, like, it's not 7 plus B, okay? If it was 7 plus B, you'd handle this totally differently. But when this is all just one term, you'd handle it this way. B squared, you take the highest exponent. So for your common denominator, this will be B cubed in both. And then for the Y and Y squared, of course, the highest denominator is, the highest exponent is Y squared, okay? So now what would you have to multiply 7B squared Y to get 28B cubed Y squared, okay? So we know that we'd have to multiply 7 by 4. So we're going to multiply this by 4. And then we need one more B, so B. And then for the Y, it's going to be Y squared. We need one more Y. So this would have to be multiplied by 4BY as well. Okay. So what is 4BY times 6? 24 BY. Okay. And here in this situation, what would you have to multiply by this to give you 28? 4B cubed Y squared to give you 28B cubed Y squared. It looks like just 7. Just 7, and then you have to multiply top by 7, that becomes 35. Now we can combine like terms because, we can combine them because they have the same denominator. With adding and subtracting, this is how you would handle it, okay? Two fractions, adding and subtracting. And if you remember from a couple days ago, when we multiplying and dividing is so much easier with these because you do not have to have common denominator. But with adding and subtracting, you do. So that's kind of why we do adding and subtracting last, because it's the harder of the two. So we have common denominators. Our common denominator is 28B cubed Y. Okay, so we're going to combine these two. This becomes now 24BY plus 35. Can we simplify here? Looking at these three numbers, doesn't look like it. No. Nope. So this is our answer. Okay. Now we're going to come down here and see what's going on here. Okay, so this is different because this y plus 6 as opposed to it's some type of squared x plus 6. So if we had like x cubed and x to the third power, no plus 6 in it, we'd handle this differently. We'd handled it like we did up there. But since it has x plus 6, there's a different situation that happens with these, okay? So here, your factors are x and x plus 6. That is your common denominator, okay? X and x plus 6. So now, because now you have to take both factors into account, okay? So now when you, at the top, like what did you, to get from x to x plus 6, what happened there, okay? What happened to get from x to x plus 6? I had to multiply this by x plus 6. So this whole thing, I had to multiply by x plus 6. This now has to multiply by x plus 6. So up here, you're going to have 3 times x plus 6, okay? Same thing here. What did I have to multiply by x plus 6 to get x times x plus 6? Clearly x, okay? X, and if I multiply the bottom by x, I have to multiply the top by x. That becomes now 2x. So now, let's put them together. I'm going to distribute as I do it, 3x. So this becomes 3x plus 18. So 3x plus 18, because I distributed, plus 2x over x times x plus 6. Okay, I just left it because now they're like terms. Now I can put them together, but now I have to combine those up there. So this now becomes what? 5x plus 18 all over x times x plus 6. Okay. I'm actually done, it looks like. Let me see if I can, nope, there's nothing really I can do with that. This is just your answer. Okay, doesn't have to be pretty, you just have to follow the rules. All right, let's move on here. See what happens there. So what do I have to do? Same type of process like over here. I have this x and x plus 6 here. This looks like 5x and x minus 3. That is my common denominator, 5x and x minus 3. And then minus, of course, 5x and x minus 3 here. So what do I have to multiply by 5x to give me 5x and x minus 3? It looks like I added an x minus 3. So if I added one here, I have to add one here. Okay, so this now becomes 6 and x minus 3. Now to get from here to here, it looks like I had to add a 5x. So I have to add a 5x up top. So this becomes 5 times 5x. Okay, let's do the distributing. Distribute here, distribute here. This becomes now 6x minus 18. And this is negative 5. Don't forget the negative in between belongs to this. So it becomes negative 5 times 5x is negative 25x. So minus 25x all over 5x times x minus 3. Combine like terms. Okay. We have 6 minus 25 there, and it becomes negative 19, 19x minus 18 all over 5x times x minus 3. That looks like it's your answer. Okay, they just want you to simplify as much as you can and put them together, combine like terms, subtract them, and then once you do that, you're done. Unless you can simplify, which we don't look like we can here. Doesn't look like we can. Okay. All right, let's see. Moving on, last page, front and back. All right, same type of situation we just dealt with, where you're going to have the different, you're going to have the different factors. So this one, common factor or LCD, okay, least common denominator is going to be x minus 7 and x minus 3. Same thing over here, x minus 7, x minus 3. So to get from here to here, what did I do? I added the x minus 3, it looks like. Okay, so I'm going to have to add the x minus 3 at the top. So this becomes 8 and then x minus 3. What did I add from here to here? It looks like I add the x minus 7. So up here it's going to be x minus 4 and then x minus 7 right next to it. Okay, so now they have the common denominators. We're going to put them together. So this top one, distribute. This becomes 8x minus 24. And this, you're going to have to FOIL it. Okay? What do I mean by FOIL? Meaning that you're going to have to multiply them. So x times x is x squared. X times 7 is negative 7x. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Negative 4 times negative 7 is positive 28. And then, of course, it's all over x minus 7 and x minus 3. Okay, perfect. So now up here we can combine like terms. I like to put the degrees, the highest degree first. So of course this x squared is going to go first, and the last number is going to be the 28 because it's the 0 degree, the constant. So x squared is first, and the 24 looks like. I'm going to combine like terms. 8x minus 7x minus 4x. Okay, 8 minus 7 minus 4 becomes negative 3x. And of course, negative 24 and positive 28 becomes positive 4. And then it looks like, and then it's x minus 7 and x minus 3. I will need to try to factor it. There are times when you can't factor, it doesn't factor. Okay, there are going to be times where you see it, it does not factor, and it's a choice. One of the choices is going to say not factorable, whatever. In this case, we'll see. Multiples of 4 that add to give you the middle, because the last one's positive. The last one's positive, so they have to add to give you the middle. The only multiples of 4 are 1 and 4, and 1 plus 4 is 5, and 2 plus 2. And I mean 2 and 2, and 2 plus 2 is 4. This is not factorable. You cannot factor it. And if you can't factor it, you have to leave it alone. So your answer here is x squared minus 3x plus 4 all over x minus 7 and x plus 3, minus 3. That is your answer. Okay? So that was your answer there. Let's move forward here. Same process. Okay? So, of course, we're going to have this factor, x plus 2 and x plus 5 is your common denominator. Minus always makes a big difference. X plus 2, x plus 5. I didn't give myself enough room there. All right, so what did I add? I added it looks like I added the x minus 6 to the top. I added, there was already an x plus 2 there, but I added an x plus 5, so I have to add x plus 5 up here. Here at the top, it looks like there's already a 2, and I've added the x plus 2. X plus 5 was already there at the bottom. X plus 5 is here. So in order to get to here, I added the x plus 2, and I have to add the x plus 2 at the top. Okay, so now FOIL that. That becomes x squared, because I'm FOILing, and then plus 5x, and then minus 6x, and then negative 6 times 5 is negative 30. And then, of course, with this one, you just have to distribute, but if you distribute, you have to distribute negative 2. So this becomes negative 2x minus 4. Okay? And then at the bottom, all of that, you just have x plus 2 and x plus 5. Good. So combine like terms. The like terms here are 5x, negative 6x, and negative 2x. Okay, so 5 minus 6 minus 2, that becomes negative 3x. So x squared minus 3x. Here, negative 30 and negative 4 become negative 34. All over x plus 2 and x plus 5. Just because this one didn't really factor, I'm gonna think that this one doesn't, but we'll see. we can see it's same or different. It'll be different, but one is positive, one negative. You have to subtract to get the middle. So are there any multiples of 34 that subtract to give you 3? I do not think so. Nope. I think I'm just going to leave it that way. I think that this is the answer. Okay. Not from my head. I don't believe so. And these are the ones that trick people. I think everything has to factor. Everything does not have to factor. If there is no number that subtracts or adds to give you that middle, then you cannot do it. You just can't factor it. Not factorable. Just leave it that way. It's hard for some people to leave that on the table, but that's just the way it is. All right, so here I do want you to kind of worry about what's going on in this situation. You have to factor. I mean, you have to have the greatest common factor at the bottom. So 2x, and what's the common factor here? It looks like 2. This becomes x plus 4 at the bottom. And then x here, and then what 5 is the greatest common factor there, and it becomes x plus 4. And that matters, believe it or not. Okay. So now look at the top here. These two, because this is now outside of this situation, and remember with these two are married, but this on the outside is not. So these two can kind of cancel each other out. So now you'll have x over, you have x plus 4 here, minus x times 5, and then this is x plus 4. So as we knew from before, this is common. Okay, you still have to have it one time in your greatest common factor, but you don't have to write it twice. You don't have to multiply these by each other like we did up here. You see how we multiplied this by this on our greatest common factor? Here, it's common, so we don't have to do that. We can just say, hey, our greatest common factor is definitely going to have x plus 4 in it. Okay, minus, and then we'll have x plus 4 for sure, but then you see this extra 5, it has to go in it too. So that is going to be our greatest common factor. I mean, our LCD, least common denominator. Okay, so because this 5 is there, it does have to be involved in it, but we don't have to put this times this. When it's there, we can just put it one time, but then the 5 has to be there. Okay, so our LCD is going to be 5 times x plus 4. So with this one, it doesn't look like anything happened between here and here. So we don't have to do anything to the top. We just leave it the exact same. But here we added a 5. So there we have to add a 5. So now this becomes 5x. If we added a 5 here, we have to add a 5 there. So now once we combine them, this becomes 5x minus x, minus 1x. And 5x minus 1x is 4x. So this is 4x over 5 times x plus 4. That is your answer. You are done. There's nothing you can do. You can't simplify it. And I am going to stress to you how important it is to practice this stuff, guys. Please practice, practice, practice. Do your work in Alex. Take the time to learn this stuff, and how to learn it is not just watching someone else do it. Clearly, that's with anything. You have to practice yourself in order to get it correct. And Alex is a great way to do that. All right, so here we are, same situation. I can see at the bottom, it looks like I'm going to have to take out the greatest common factor. Let me do that first. So this becomes 2 parentheses x minus 3. And here I'm going to take a 5 out, and this becomes x minus 3 here, and this is x plus 3 here. Fine. So I can't really simplify anything, but I see that the x minus 3's are in both. So I know that x minus 3 is going to be at very least in my greatest common factor. X minus 3 is going to be there for sure. And then I have a 2 and a 5. So I have to multiply those two numbers. 2 times 5 is 10. So I'm going to have a 10 there as well. So what would I have to multiply by this to give me, the x minus 3 is already there, but the 10 is there. What would I have to multiply by 2 to get 10? 5. So I'm going to multiply this by 5 and this by 5. But remember with this, these are married. So whatever happens to one has to happen to another. That's why you're going to distribute there. So this now becomes 5x plus 10. Same situation here. What would I have to multiply by 5 and then to get the 10, because the x minus 3 is already there, I have to multiply that by 2. So this is 2 and this is 2. But of course, those are married. What happens to one has to happen to the other. I'm distribute. This becomes 2x plus 6. Now we have common denominators. Okay, we have the common denominator, 10 parentheses x minus 3. Combine those, 5x plus 10 plus 2x. They made it simple for us this time without the subtraction yet, but it's over here. And then combine like terms. So we'll have 5x plus 2x, that's 7x plus 16 over 10 times x minus 3. Can't simplify that. That is your answer, okay, when you combine those two. All right, let's go over here. Same kind of situation, 2x, x minus 2. It does look like I can take out the greatest common factor. Take out the greatest common factor. The greatest common factor at the bottom looks like 5. Okay, and then x minus 2 there. The top, to be honest with you, I am not going to do anything with that. Yes, I see that there's a common factor there of 2. I wouldn't take it out, not right now. The bottom is important because we need to figure out factoring, but the top, leave it for now. Leave it for now. If there's something you can do with that, I would leave it. I wouldn't even do anything yet. All right, so here, of course, we're adding the 5. So in our LCD, the 5 is there with the x minus 2, 5, x minus 2. So nothing was added. So this right here will kind of stay the same. But please don't forget that this is a minus, so this has to be distributed in, okay? And then this 5 here was added, so at the top, it becomes 5 times 2x, okay, which becomes 10x. So distribute. So this 5x minus 2 is now the common denominator. This becomes 10x minus 4x plus 6. I can see people missing that a lot because they don't want to distribute that. But these are married. So whatever happens to this, if the negative goes there, it has to go to both separately. So that is what that becomes. And this can be easily missed. So this now becomes 10, 6x plus 6 over 5 times x minus 2. That is my answer. Doesn't look like it can simplify anything here. Okay. All right, last portion, of course, is going to get a little bit more difficult, but I think we got this. We got this. All right, so if you look at the very first problem here with the star, you see that this has this negative x is last. I'm going to flip that. I do not like that x like that. So I'm going to make it negative x plus 1 plus x plus 1 over x minus 1. Okay, so I flip that. But of course, if that negative is first, we did this before. This is not going to be the first time we did this. 4x, I'm going to take out a negative 1. Okay, and when I do, this now becomes x minus 1. We did this before. When you have that negative in front, if I take it out, it'll change. This now becomes positive. That now becomes negative. And I'm doing that for a reason. Because again, look. Now you kind of have the same. So this becomes x plus 1 still, x minus 1. Okay, so what is new from here to here? Looks like the negative on the outside. And that's going to be added when we do our LCD. So negative and then x minus 1. Negative and then x minus 1 is our LCD there. So here, I didn't add anything. The 4x stays the same. But here, as you can see, I added a negative in front. So if I added a negative in front, I have to add a negative here, which is x plus 1. And of course, you're going to have to distribute that. So this becomes now 4x minus x, because it's distribute, minus 1, over negative parentheses x minus 1. Okay, so these two are common denominators. I can put the tops together. Combine like terms, 4x minus x is 3x minus 1 over negative parentheses x minus 1. That is your answer. You can't subtract those two because it has this 3x. It's not x minus 1, it's 3x minus 1. So you can't, unless you take something out and it just becomes x minus 1, you can't do anything with that. So this would be your answer. Not a pretty answer, but your answer nonetheless. Okay? Let me grab a piece of paper here because it looks like we don't have that much room to do this one. I'm going to do some separate sheet of paper. Let me grab a sheet over here. All right, so we have this problem. X plus 8 over 8 minus x minus 1 over x minus 8. And again, that minus in between is always nasty. All right, so let's first and foremost, again, let's switch that, okay? So x plus 8, we're going to switch that to negative x plus 8, okay? We flipped it. X is negative, so the negative has to go with it. So negative x plus 8 minus 1 over x minus 8. And of course, the same thing we did with the last problem, we have to take out that negative, and then it becomes x minus 8. This stays the same. What is our common denominator? Negative, and then x minus 8. So common denominator, negative, x minus 8. And then this one is also negative, and then x minus 8. So nothing changed there. This still stays the same. But this now has a negative in front of it. Negative 1. Okay, and that is just such an, ugh. Those negatives just make life so difficult. All right, but we will handle it together. So x minus, negative x minus 8 is your common denominator. And now you can combine those, negative and a negative. What happens when you say minus a negative or plus? So this becomes 8, x plus 8 plus 1. And 8 plus 1 is 9. So this is x plus 9 over negative parentheses x minus 8. Okay, this is your answer. It's ugly, but our answer nonetheless. Okay. All right. So these down here are also all the ones that where you're going to have to kind of factor it first. So we have to do some little groundwork before we really start. So let's do that. I'm going to actually write this one down on my paper so I can have enough room. Okay. I'd like to have some room when I do these problems. So let's go here, a little line. We'll have 1 over 3x squared plus 8x plus 5 plus 2 over x plus 1. Okay, I just wrote it down. Can't see it. There it goes. Okay. And of course, I have to do some groundwork, and I'm going to have to factor that. So this is 3x squared plus 8x plus 5. I'm going to circle slide divide. So this becomes x squared plus 8x plus 15. Okay, same, x plus. I know it's plus because that is plus, x plus, x plus. 5 and 3, it looks like. Multiply the add to give you 8. Don't forget to divide by that 3. Okay, so this now becomes x plus 1 and 3x plus 5. Okay. Now all of that goes under your fraction. So 1 over x plus 1, 3x plus 5, plus 2 over x plus 1. All right. So we know that x plus 1 is going to be in our greatest LCD. X plus 1 is definitely there, but this one has an actual 3x plus 5. It has to be there too. So 3x plus 5, and this one is what? X plus 1 and 3x plus 5. That is our LCD. This one didn't change, so the 1 doesn't change. But for this one, we added a 3x plus 5. So this 2 is there, but 3x plus 5 has to be added there. Let's distribute. So 1 over x plus 1. No, not even 1. Let's combine them. So the common denominator that we now can add the top are x plus 1 and 3x plus 5. So 1 plus, then we have 2 times 3x is 6x plus 10. Combine like terms, we'll have 6x plus 11 over x plus 1 and 3x plus 5. That is our answer here. Okay, that is, yes, a lot of work. Yes, a stressful situation, but we did it with the work that we did. I'm going to just go ahead and throw these answers on here. Okay, so we did that one, and this one became 6x plus 11 over x plus 1 and 3x plus 5. Perfect. Okay. Oh, that's not even that one. Sorry. That's this one, actually. All right, so that's this one right here. 6x plus 11 and x plus 1, 3x plus 5. Perfect. All right, let's get there. Let's do the next one. The next problem is, I'll write it down here. You hopefully are following along with a worksheet you printed out, or you can look back on the problem from Canvas. 6 over 4x squared plus 11x minus 20 plus 2 over 4x squared plus minus 17x plus 15. So it looks like we're going to have to do 2 different simplified divide factoring. So I have 4x squared plus 11x minus 20. Okay, does anything cancel out? Doesn't look like anything, kind of like you can't find the greatest common factor. And then over here, I know I'm going to have to do it again. Okay. All right, so this becomes x squared plus 11x minus 80. Ooh, 80. Okay. So let's try to figure that out. Look at 80. 80, it looks like it's 8 and 10, but I know that this is actually subtraction. So multiple is going to be different. 1 positive, 1 negative. I know that's happening. So 8 minus 10 is 2. So that isn't my answer. Let me try 4. 80 divided by 4 is 20. And that's not my answer either. 80 divided by 5. Let's try 5. Yeah, 5 looks good. So remember that the bigger number is going to be positive. So 16 and minus 5 is 11. Okay. Don't forget to divide by that number 4. Okay. So this now becomes x plus 4. And this one can't simplify. So this becomes 4x minus 5. So those are my factors at the bottom here. Okay, I have that. So let's do these. X squared minus 17x plus 15 times 4 is 60. 60. Okay. This is same or different? Same. Both of them are going to be negative. So it's going to be x minus, multiples of 60 that add to give you 17. I know it's 6 and 10, but that's not true. 60 divided by 2 is 30. That's not it. 60 divided by 5. Maybe 5 will work again. 5 plus 2 is 17. Perfect. And the bigger, I mean, they're both going to be negative. So This is good. Don't forget to divide by that number. So this will be 4x minus 5, and this right here is x minus 3. Okay, so we have the two factors that go here. So this now becomes 6 over x plus 4, 4x minus 5, and then plus 2 over x, 4x minus 5, and x minus 3. Okay, so your common denominator here is a lot. This problem is going to be a lot. Okay, so your common denominator here, it looks like it is, we have 4x plus 5. Those are common. So since that one is common, we can leave that one alone. Okay, so we know that one's going to be there. So it's going to have 4x minus 5 for sure. Once. But then we have the extra x plus 4. That one's there, and it has to be in both. And we have that extra x minus 3. X minus 3 is there. It has to be there. So all of those are, all three of those are the common denominator. So what did we add? Well, it's not too bad. So what did we add here? We had an x plus 4, and we had a 4x minus 5, 4x minus 5, and an x plus 4, but we didn't have this x minus 3. So it's going to be 6 times x minus 3. Okay. And here we had the 4x minus 5 and the x minus 3, but we didn't have the x plus 4. So this one is adding the x plus 4 up top. Okay. So now when we combine like terms, 4x minus 5 and x plus 4 and x minus 3, when we combine the top terms, it becomes what? 6x minus 18, and this one is plus 2x plus 8. Combine like terms there. This becomes 6x plus 2x is 8x. Okay, negative 18 plus 8 is negative 10. And then at the bottom, we'll have 4x minus 5, x plus 4, and then x minus 3. Okay, yes, it's a lot of work, but we got to the answer. Okay, so we have 8x minus 10 over 4x minus 5, x plus 3, I wanted to say, and then x minus 3. See, that's what I get for not looking. And then x plus 4. That is our answer there. Okay, for that one. Finally, we're going to do the last one, and I'll write that down too here. That is going to be, looks like 6 over 2x squared minus x minus 10 minus 2 over 2x squared minus 7x plus 5. Okay, same situation. We're going to have to factor the bottom and then find the common factors there. Okay, so we have 2x squared minus x minus 10. Circle slide divide. And we know that we're going to have to do the same thing here. Okay, so this becomes x squared minus x minus 20. Multiples of 20, that's subtract, because this is different. X minus, x plus, subtract to give you 1. Looks like 5 and 4, and the bigger number has to be negative. 5, 4, divide by 2. Okay, so this becomes now 2x minus 5. This becomes, when you simplify, x plus 2. Okay. Here, same or different. Last number positive, so they're both the same sign, both negative. So x minus, multiples of, oh, I didn't even do the, I was like, wait, what? Sorry, I didn't do the thing. So x squared minus 7x plus 10. So we're not looking at, we're looking at 10, the same situation, x minus, multiples of 10 that had to give you 7, 5, and 2. Don't forget to divide by that 2. This now becomes 2x minus 5, and x minus 1. So this is the same situation we just dealt with, literally, because they both have the 2x minus 5. So this becomes 6 over, not 6 over, excuse me. What is common? So we know that they're going to have the 2x minus 5 once. So this x plus 2 is there, but it's not there, so it has to be there too. And same thing with the x minus 1. Okay. So now we have x minus 5 there and x plus 2 there, but the x minus 1 is not there. It's added here, so it has to be added up top. So it becomes 6 times x minus 1. We have a 2 here. We have 2x plus 5 and an x minus 1, but that x plus 2 is extra, so x plus 2 has to be added there. Okay. So in your denominator, common denominator is 2x minus 5, x plus 2, x minus 1. Distribute 6x minus 6. And then here, this is a negative 2 you're distributing because that's a minus in between. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. Okay, combine like terms. 6x minus 2x, 6, 4x. And then negative 6 and negative 4 become negative 10. All over the common denominator 2x minus 5 and x plus 2 here, and then x minus 1. That is your answer for the last problem. So we have 4x minus 10 over 2x minus 5, x plus 2, and x minus 1. Okay. That is our answer for the very last problem on Unit 7, Day 4 notes.